It's 2 in the morning. You're lying in bed, doing nothing wrong, thinking about nothing important, and then it hits you. That thing you said in 7th grade. That joke that landed with silence instead of laughter. Your face gets hot in the dark, years later, for an audience of no one. Why does your brain do this to you? The obvious answer is that you're just an anxious person. That's not it. The real answer is far stranger. Your brain isn't malfunctioning when it drags up that memory. It's running a program that kept your ancestors alive. Think about how strange this actually is. You can't remember what you ate for lunch on a random Tuesday 3 weeks ago. You can't remember most of the conversations you had last month. But you remember, in perfect, humiliating detail, the exact words you used when you tripped in front of your crush, or the joke that fell flat in a meeting, or the time you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. Your brain is choosing deliberately what to keep. And it decided that moment was more important than almost anything else that happened that year. To understand why, you have to go back to a discovery made in 1977. Psychologists Roger Brown and James Kulik were studying how people remembered hearing about the assassination of President Kennedy. What they found was strange. People didn't just remember the fact. They remembered where they were standing, what they were wearing, who was next to them. Details that had nothing to do with the event itself burned into memory with photographic precision. Brown and Kulik called this a flashbulb memory. Your brain, in a moment of high emotional intensity, doesn't just record the important part, it records everything around it, like a camera flash going off and freezing the whole room. Here's the part that matters for you and your cringe memories. Flashbulb memories don't require a national tragedy. They just require your brain to decide in that instant that something matters enormously. And your brain is far more sensitive to social threat than you'd expect. This is where the amygdala comes in. It's a small, almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain, and its job is simple. It watches for danger. Neuroscientist James McGaugh, who spent decades at the University of California, Irvine studying emotional memory, found something remarkable. When the amygdala detects a strong emotional event, it sends a signal to the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for building long-term memories, and essentially tells it to lock the door and stamp the file urgent. Stress hormones flood your system in that moment. Adrenaline, cortisol. And McGaugh's research showed these hormones don't just make you feel something intensely. They physically strengthen the neural connections forming that memory, welding it into place far more permanently than an ordinary moment. So here's the question. Why would your amygdala treat an awkward joke with the same urgency as a genuine threat? Because for most of human history, it was one. Picture your ancestors 40,000 years ago. You didn't survive alone. You survived in a group of maybe 50 to 150 people, a number the anthropologist Robin Dunbar identified as the natural ceiling for human social groups, the most people a human brain can meaningfully track relationships with. Inside that group, your reputation wasn't a nice-to-have. It was your life insurance. If the group decided you were unreliable, foolish, or embarrassing in a way that made you a liability, you could be pushed to the edges. And on the edges of a hunter-gatherer band. Alone. Without shared food, without shared protection, your odds of survival collapsed. Being laughed at wasn't just uncomfortable, it was data. It was your community telling you, in real time, exactly where the line was. Say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and you might lose your share of the hunt. Misjudge the group's mood, and you might sleep outside the circle that night, unprotected. Your brain didn't evolve to help you feel good. It evolved to help you not die. And a brain that forgets its social mistakes is a brain that repeats them. This is why the sting of that memory feels so disproportionate to the actual event. Your brain isn't measuring how embarrassing the moment was by objective standards. It's measuring how much social risk it represented, using a threat detection system built for a world where social rejection could be a death sentence. There's a study that makes this connection even clearer, and it doesn't involve embarrassment at all. It involves a simple video game. Psychologist Naomi Eisenberger at the University of California, Los Angeles, put people in a brain scanner and had them play a virtual ball-tossing game with 2 other players. Except the other players weren't real. They were programmed to eventually stop throwing the ball to the participant excluding them from the game. What Eisenberger found was that the brain regions activated by this small social exclusion were the same regions activated by physical pain. Being left out didn't just feel bad. Your brain processed it using the same machinery it uses for a broken bone. Now hold that next to your 2 a.m. memory. The awkward joke. The rejected wave. Your brain isn't exaggerating when it treats those moments as urgent. It's using the oldest alarm system it has, the one built to protect you from the ancient version of pain that mattered most, being cast out of the group that kept you alive. But here's the twist, and it's the part that should actually make you feel better instead of worse. This system was built for a world of 50 to 150 people, where everyone remembered everything, where your reputation was tracked constantly by a small number of people who saw you every single day. That world doesn't exist for you anymore. You live surrounded by strangers who forgot about your bad joke within the hour, if they even noticed it at all. Your ancient alarm system is still running the old code in a completely different world. It's protecting you from a threat that, most of the time, isn't actually there. Researchers who study this kind of memory call it a mismatch. The same kind of mismatch that makes you crave sugar and fat, even though scarcity isn't your reality anymore. The same kind that makes you flinch at a spider, even if you've never encountered a dangerous one. Your fear of social judgment evolved in a world where judgment was rare, close, and consequential. You now live in a world where it's abundant, distant, and mostly harmless. The alarm still goes off. The fire it was built to warn you about mostly isn't burning anymore. So the next time that memory surfaces at 2 in the morning, you can look at it differently. That isn't a flaw in you. It's not proof that you're too sensitive or that the moment was actually as catastrophic as it felt. It's a very old, very loyal part of your brain, still standing guard over a version of you that lived in a tribe of 150 people, still trying to keep you safe from being cast out into the dark. It doesn't know the tribe is gone. It doesn't know almost everyone who witnessed that moment has already forgotten it. It's just doing its job, using tools built tens of thousands of years before smartphones, before strangers, before a world so large that one awkward sentence could never actually end you. It's 2 in the morning, and you're lying in bed, and your face is hot in the dark for an audience of no one. But now you know what's actually happening. That's not a broken memory. That's a very old bodyguard, still standing at a door that closed a long time ago. If you like this video, here's another one in the top left corner. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, G's Money Moves, for more. Have a blessed one.